Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I'm here to talk about a creative initiative that the Sadiq school has launched a few weeks ago. I've observed that at the mosque, when there's a majlis on Thursdays and when the Mukhi says please recite Surah Fatiha, as a community we are quite disciplined and we do recite Surah Fatiha. It does not matter whether the names mentioned are our relatives, because in the end the Mukhi always says Kul Marhumin, and we know that when we are reciting the Surah Fatihas, our Marhumin are receiving the rewards. The Holy Prophet was asked, what can we do for our Marhumin? And he says, gift the dead. And they asked, how should we gift the dead? He said, by charity and by prayers. Just like we like to receive gifts and we like to be remembered, so do the Marhumin. So how would we remember our Marhumin? You ask any girl what she would do for her mother, late mother, and she'll say, I'll do anything. You ask a son what he'll do for his late father, and he'll say, I'll do anything. You ask a husband or a wife what they will do for their spouse, and they'll say, we'll do anything. Because we know, and the sixth Imam has told us, that anything that we do for our Marhumin, be it good deeds, be it prayers, be it pilgrimages, be it charity, they do receive it. In my opinion, they receive it instantaneously. I want to tell you a story of Sayyid Mudrasi, what he was told by a female relative. A female relative of Sayyid Hussain Mudrasi saw his late father in a dream, and next to him were a pile of clothes. So the relative asked the late father, how did you get these wonderful clothes? They were the clothes of Jannah. We can't even imagine how good they were. And he said, my son sent it to me. Next morning, this relative asked all their siblings and the brothers if they had done something for the late father. None of them could remember. Only one of them said, yeah, yesterday I had asked the tailor to send some clothes to Yatim. By doing such a good deed, the father received the clothes instantaneously the next day. And when we recite 2 rakat namaz for our Marhumin, we might think it's nothing, it's small, but for them, it's a world in entirety. We should try to do as much as we can for our Marhumin. And so at Sadiq school, we have launched a perpetual Islamic calendar. It's called a Hadith a day Islamic calendar. On every page there will be a Hadith, and we've prepared it in an Islamic calendar as opposed to a Gregorian calendar, because we want our children to know what day of the month it is. To synchronize the Islamic date, we are going to have an LED clock, which will have the name, the date in the calendar. And on each page, you can sponsor the name of your Marhumin when they passed away. So if your Marhumin passed away on the 28th of Ramadan, you can put his or her name there. It's a perpetual calendar. So every year on her day, on her death anniversary, 20,000 people are going to receive this calendar. And even if 1% of the people recite Surah Fatiha for your Marhumin, it will be 200 Surah Fatihas. I've asked few people to tell me what is the reward equal to, and they say it's difficult to define. It's a huge, huge reward that your Marhumin will receive on every year on their death anniversary. The cost of this insertion is 400 Canadian dollars, 300 US dollars, or 200 pounds. I know my generation likes calendar and we like to flip it over like that, but I know that the new generation is not very fond of turning this calendar. So for them, we are going to have in 3 digital platforms. We are going to create an app where every day these names with a Hadith a day plus a historical event that took place on that day. So on this day, we can say it's an Eid al-Fitr. We'll also have our Eids, our Wafats, our Wiladats, all shown on their respective dates. So it's a beautiful calendar, and this can be on a global level. If you are living in London, if you are living in Kenya, if you are living in Dubai, if you are living in Toronto, you can insert the name of your marhumin, and you can be sure that a lot of people are going to recite Surah Fatiha on your marhum's death anniversary. This calendar is a win-win situation. When you recite Surah Fatiha, it's a prayer. The Surah Fatiha is a prayer. The first 3 ayats of Surah Fatiha are praising of Allah. The last 3 ayats are what you are praying to Allah. Ihdina siratal mustaqim siratal lazina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghzubi alayhim walazzalin. Surah Fatiha is considered the mother of Quran. So when you recite Surah Fatiha for yourself, it's a great thing. The other benefit that you are going to receive is when you make a donation of this 400 Canadian dollars, you're going to get a tax receipt. So for Canadians, you're really paying half of it because you get a tax refund for other $200. What will it do to your children? 2 things for your children. You're going to inculcate into your children the idea that we have to do something for our grandparents and parents. We are also going to inculcate into them the good manners to recite Surah Fatiha. What will it do to a Sadiq school? It's going to bring funds that will help them expand. Right now we have 600 students at Sadiq. We need to expand. Our classrooms are all full to capacity. We need to invest this into a new building. So for Sadiq, it's going to be funds, and but that's also going to benefit your children. When Sadiq grows and there's more facility, it's going to be better for your children as well. So it's a win-win situation for you, for your marhumin. Marhumin are going to get amazing rewards when people are going to recite Surah Fatiha for them. So it's a win-win situation. I don't understand why somebody would not contribute to this. I want to end with a short hadith that I heard. There was this man, scholar who saw a few people walking along, some dead people walking along. Some of them were very happy, but there was this man behind who seemed very sad. The scholar asked him, "How come you are sad?" He said, "My son is not sending any rewards to me. He doesn't remember me. And these other people's relatives do remember him." So the scholar next morning went and talked to his son. His son was a launderer. Like in India, they wash clothes at the riverbank. His son was doing that. The scholar went and talked to him, and he narrated to him this dream that he had. The son got very angry. He says, "Look, I have nothing. I don't have anything to send to my father." What he did was he took 3 cups of water and poured in the riverbank. At that time, there were some small fishes at the riverbank, and these fishes, with the water that he threw, the fishes went into the river, and they survived. The same night, the scholar saw the father in the dream. He says, "Thank you. Tell my son I did receive the reward." So by doing as little as possible, you can send a reward to your marhumin. With the prayer of the father, late father, this son then became very rich and prospered. It does not matter what we do. It can be as little as possible, but the marhumins do get this reward. So I'm encouraging all of you to please sponsor, tell your friends, tell your relatives all over the world to support this initiative that Sadiq has started. I know at the time when our marhumins pass away, we are looking for ways to do something. We print books, Surah Yasin books and all that. But this is a creative way to send a reward to your marhumin. It is narrated by our Prophet that every Friday the souls of our dead descend on this earth, and they cry, "O father, O mother, O son, please reward me with a dirham, a piece of bread, or anything," because they do benefit from that. It is narrated that when the father is alive, the son does good when he's alive and then forgets him when he's dead, it's considered that the parent is very angry with him. On the other hand, if the son is busy during the lifetime but does send rewards to his dead father, he is considered an obedient son. So I would encourage all of you to please think hard and support this project. Thank you. Wassalam.